Okay, I think this is it. Day 3 of the Vision of Success challenge is here. We got through 3 days. Um, so I just would love to hear from you. Hopefully there'll be people joining live. If not, leave comments in the video like you have the last few days. We have the conversation any time of day, so I'll be online checking what you say. But when I was originally setting this challenge, I was thinking about the timing of it. And I know when I've done challenges in the past, it generally gets to the third day and I'm like struggling to keep up. There's always other things that come in. So I thought, okay, let me try a 3-day challenge and see how that works. See if people can make the time and the space for the challenge. And then more than that, I also sometimes feel like the work that's expected in a challenge can be quite time consuming. So I thought, okay, let me set a 15-minute guideline of how you can complete each day in 15 minutes. So I just wanted to know how that worked out for you. If you found the timing helpful, if it was realistic, did you manage to get through the challenge? How has it actually been working for you? And I know there have been a few people who've joined who weren't here at the start of the challenge, and that's fine because you now have the rest of the week to catch up. So if you want to kind of go through the process, definitely don't worry that you haven't stuck to the same 3 days. The group's going to stay open and active, and we can keep that conversation going. But I also wanted to just reflect a bit on timing also, because today is around looking at what our actual schedules look like if we're wanting to be bringing in elements of our vision of success. So it's quite a nice touch point just to think, were you able to take 15 minutes out of your day every day to create the space for you to journal, reflect, and create these vision boards? How did that work? Did other things get in the way? Did you create the space? Were there different priorities? Because when you're wanting to change, if you're wanting to be moving and creating a bridge between where you are now and this vision of success that you've created, chances are you're going to have to do things differently. And part of that may be making changes to your schedule and giving up some of the things that you do on a regular basis, so you have the time and space to create this vision of success. And it is amazing to see more people joining. So thank you. It's Lauren and Yasmin and Francesca. I'm so happy that you're on the call. It's great to have your support live. I'm going to go through, actually, let me just check what you're saying. So Yasmin is saying the toughest was today, as her calendar is already her biggest impediment, but she's going to keep taking many steps. And I know what Yasmin's schedule is like, so I can totally understand that it is jam-packed. And it is always a tough question. And I know Yasmin and I were both, we used to work together coaching teams. And I was actually going to share one of the exercises that we did, which was looking at things that, as if we were looking at teams, but you can do this for yourself. What are things in your life that you want to start, stop, do more of, do less of, and what are the things you want to keep the same? So it's a nice, like, overall way of finding ways to make space in your life. And Francesca's saying she's catching up over a few days of family distractions, but loving the content and reflecting on the new imagery that's coming through. And I think that's what's been so fun for me in this challenge, is actually coming up with these real images. Like, what do things actually look like? Because that's how we can then get really specific and say, okay, these are the things that I want in my life. And that's when we can start bringing them in and bringing them into our days today, and we don't have to wait until the future. I also was wondering around using a timer, so setting that 15 minutes aside. That's something that I do to help me make space in my day for things that I want to bring in. So, like, for instance, my morning routine, I can set a timer for 15 minutes and pretty much get through, if I'm going to be doing journaling, if I want to do some stretches, if I want to do some meditation. I try and generally take 15 minutes because that's something that I can most likely fit into my morning. So even if you've gotten into a practice of using those 15 minutes for this challenge, maybe you want to think about what else you can bring into your routine that matches your vision of success. So yeah, that was part of it. I also was just going to say that the group will stay open, and I'm going to be putting in a surprise bonus announcement tomorrow. So look out for that. today we're like celebrating putting a bow on the challenge, but there's going to be a little bit of a bonus surprise for you tomorrow. So make sure you come back and have a look, and I'll also send you an email if you're not able to access the group. So yeah, I would love to know also, it's great to have you guys on the live. So let me know what activities came up for you. What are things that you were thinking you want to bring into your life? I shared my vision board for today in the group, and I've got fairly consistent themes of things that I know that I love in my life. But it was really powerful just to create the visual imagery because that was super motivating. So things that I love to do is I love to be out in nature. I love to swim. I love swimming in cold water. That's actually cold, wild, natural water. That's my thing. And I love to paint. And so I put together those images. And there's some things that I do actually do on a regular basis. I've already brought them into my life. I have a beautiful cup of coffee every morning. I try and meet up with a friend once in a while at a coffee shop. COVID times is making that more limited. But I haven't been swimming since I've been close to the beach where I'm living now. And so seeing the imagery and feeling that actual like motivation and energy that I get from that image made me think that I did want to create that space and take the time out. So today I went and swam in the sea, which was amazing. And I literally, when I see pictures of paintbrushes and paint, it's like my heart skips a beat. And I just think, oh my God, that's all I want to be doing. So I would love to know also if you felt any real motivation just from seeing the images. And you might want to then think about how do you make those images accessible to you on a regular basis so that you are more motivated to do the things that you love. So another thing that I do with my coaching clients is when we're coming up with some vision setting, then I help them create a screensaver. So we put the images in a screensaver with some kind of vision statement, and then it's on your phone and you're then reminded regularly of the life that you want to create and what's important to you. So that's just an extra idea of how to stay motivated, and also using these visual images as a way to keep that drive and that energy and that engagement up. Because I noticed also when I went swimming, it's one part is making the space. So you've got to create the time and the space to do the things you love, but also pay attention to the feelings that are coming up for you. Because there's obviously the desired feeling state that you want to get to with that activity. But with going to the beach today, I had some fear around a lot of things. Like I had fear around being on my own, being on the beach. I had fear around the waves in the sea. And so I was noticing what are all the things that are holding me back and stopping me from doing the things that are important to me. And this is why it's so important to put your ideas into practice, because you can spend your whole life dreaming about this lifestyle and this vision and these things that you want. But when you get them, you'll be faced with new challenges you don't expect. So the more you can bring it in regularly into your life, you can start to learn and address and grow with your vision. You can grow with your dreams, and you can see, how do I need to change as a person to make this a sustainable part of my lifestyle? Yeah, so that was the motivation part is really big for me. I find that even though I've been thinking about this, it was around 5 years ago that I started asking myself these questions regularly. And since then, I have made a number of changes. My life looks totally different. And yet I'm still faced with the same issues where it's very easy for me to just keep working, stick on my computer, not take time for the activities and the things that I want to be doing in my life. So motivation's huge. And then the other things that I use are different productivity tips. I use different routines, and I use different systems and structures so that I can make space frequently. And I've built in that space in my life of how I can make sure that I am supported in moving towards my vision. So the one quick and easy one is that setting a timer, using a timer to create little spaces where you can do what you want. But I think in the coming days and weeks, I'll also use this group to put in other ideas around habits, routines, productivity tips. But what I like to do is starting with the vision first, because I think there's only so much time, there's only so much value in productivity tips if you're not using it to actually create the space for something that you genuinely desire and want, and that's bringing you joy and fulfillment. But if anyone else has any ideas or anything that's worked for them, then yeah, throw them into the chat, into the comments, and let's also use this as a space to share ideas around how to keep moving forward and creating these visions of success. Yeah, so I think that was pretty much everything I wanted to share with you today. If you have any more questions, oh, there's more comments. So Lauren saying she loves seeing the images. Francesca saying she's treated herself to new glasses today to show up in line with her new vision. I can't wait to see those glasses. I'm sure they're beautiful. But I think I'm hoping that the final takeaway from this group is around leading in your own life. So I think it's showing up, it's feeling like you have the power, the agency to create the lives that you want. It's about redefining what vision looks like, because we're surrounded by so many images of others. We spoke yesterday around a lot of imagery of white men on mountains in boardrooms. So taking that time to really define what's true for you, what it is that you want your vision to look like, and then showing up, having power, having agency to lead and create that in your life. So I'm so grateful for you all for being here, being part of the challenge. If you're catching up, share your workbooks and share your vision boards. And I will be back tomorrow with a bonus surprise. So look out for that. And I hope you all have a great day. Great days and great evenings. Bye, everyone.